How's everybody doing? Welcome into Tuned Into NoCo. I'm Ashlee Meehleis, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Northern Colorado Sawyers Group founder, Bob Johnson. So first off, Bob, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
For our listeners who don't know, do you mind explaining what the Northern Colorado Sawyers are all about?
Well, yes. It's an elite group of citizen volunteer sawyers that are trained, and they get out in the woods and do sawyer work for private and public lands. We don't have any dues or fees. We do it voluntarily. We started in 2019 as a spinoff from WRV. If you folks are familiar with Wildland Restoration Volunteers.org, they've been around about 35 years or so, but they're a nonprofit group also that takes care of the wilderness. Anyway, they do sawyers work, and they usually put the tools and saws away in the fall around October. And then I'm with CATS, which is Colorado Addicted Trail Builder Society, and we also have some sawyers in that group. So what happened was we thought that putting the tools away was kind of a waste of time, so why don't we keep the saws out and keep them going during the wintertime? So that's how the group got started. We said, yeah, let's go saw during the winter. And that's what we did. We started in the fall of 2019, and we started up at No Barriers, USA, up in Red Feather Lakes, and we started thinning out the property. Since we've had all these big fires now, the big push is to mitigate properties and, thin out the dead snags and younger growth, leave the older growth, and they're looking for more ponderosa-type forests and get rid of all the junipers and cedars. And we also mitigate after fires too, which is like post-fire mitigation, like this big Cameron Peaks fire. We're doing a lot of cutting down dead snags and stuff and making weirs, which are like check dams in the ravines. We do a lot of restoration work also. And then we do burn piles, slash piles. We actually work control burns. But it's a fun group. It's everybody that joins is got to be certified, meaning they have to have an S212 Sawyers certification, which is a 4-day training class or better. And we've got some really good arborists in our group. That was great. That's a plus for us. And we go out sporadically during the week and do, like over at City 11, we're cutting out the Russian olives quite a bit over there. And then we're on state parks also with Lori State Park and State Forest State Park. We're up there doing sawyer work. And we do stuff for Fort Collins Natural Areas, Larimer County, and some private ranches like Lazy D up in Pingree Park, and also Sundance Ranch over at Red Feathers. And we're also working at the Wolf Sanctuary. We're going to be doing some sawyer work this coming week, May 12th, I think it is. Yeah, we'll be over there.
And you're the founder of this group, so how did you get involved? Did you previously work as an arborist? No? No.
I'm just I got a lot of background in trail building, over 25 years of that. But actually, after the 2013 floods, remember those that raged through here? Well, in 2014, LCCC, which is Larimer County Conservation Corps, they hired me as a trail boss to go into the mountains and fix all the downed, trees that were clogging up all our waterways. So we were running saws, so I had to get certified, and I went to that Salida Fire Camp 4-day course and got certified, and then I ran a crew running saw 10 hours a day. So I go home and my arms are shaking like this. But we ran a crew for about 4 months in 2014 fixing up the riverways and stuff. So then your certification for S212 is only 3 years long. So that was 2014. Then 2017, I got recertified again, and I just kept it up, sawing sporadically with WRV until we formed this new group.
Awesome. Now, NoCo Sawyers and CATS are completely volunteer run, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
And you guys go out, you work for free, and I'm sure the weather doesn't always cooperate.
Yeah, that's true. We work for beer and compliments usually. But no, our motto is mending trails and promoting stewardship for over there at CATS. And then we have a different motto for the NoCo Sawyer group. That's saws on, be safe. Save a forest and cut a tree. That's sort of our motto there. But both groups are nonprofits. One's a 501c3, And just recently, we merged NoCo Sawyer Group underneath the wing of CATS. So we're on their umbrella now. So we share their website and stuff like that. So it's kind of great because some trails need cutting prior to, like over at Old St. Louis Natural Area, right in the city of Loveland. We had to clear out some areas near the river there. So that was the Sawyer Group. And then now, like tonight, Thursday night, I'll be over there working trail with my CATS group.
No way.
So we both work in tandem with each other.
You guys stay pretty busy then.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we do. We got lots of clients and lots of work. So
yeah, that's great. So why do you think it's so important to clear these trees?
Well, for fire reasons mainly, and fire rages through in different ways, down on the ground or through the canopy. What we're trying to do is clean up the lower areas so there's no fuel. So it's more like fuel reduction.
Okay.
We want to clean up the ground, pull the limbs up to about 10 or 12 feet. That's why we have some people in our group, my wife included, Connie. I had to put a shout out for Connie. And Diane, they both run pole saws, which you don't need any training for that. So you can just grab a pole saw and we'll give you 5 minutes of training and do an electric or gas-powered pole saw. They'll trim the trees up at the bowl or at the bark, the trunk area, and then pull it up 10 to 12 feet. The rest of us are cutting down snags or dead wood on the ground or dropping live trees as directed by the land agency. Okay. So what we're doing is thinning everything, and then we make these big piles. And there's an art to that. Matter of fact, we had to take an 8-hour slash pile burning class, believe it or not, last year. Yeah. And so we build these slash piles that should get burned during the wintertime when there's 3 inches or more of snow. Okay. They'll come back in and do what's called control burns. Okay. Where they do those drip torches and they burn it.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of that up in the Red Feather area, Red Feather Lakes area right now.
Wow. So how many trees do you guys cut down in a day?
Yikes. That depends on, one, it's not a race. So we're not out there underneath. It's not like we're firefighters and we have to go and keep saws running hot and, we got fire licking at our backside. So we take our time. We're more safe about everything. So based on people's own, speed and all. But normally it depends, when you count a tree, what do you count a tree? A 1 inch, a 2 inch, a 5 inch, Some people are dropping, 12-inch diameter trees, that got to go. I would say 20 to 30. And when you count a day, we do a 6-hour whack. We call it a whack. Okay. So we'll get up there and whack for 6 hours, and we'll take a lunch break because after 6 hours, your saw arms get a little tired, and the saw gets pretty heavy. So we'll, I think that answers it. We do 20 or 30. Some people are a little more aggressive. It also depends if you have to stop and make your own slash piles or what's called swamping. That means you have to drag all your cuttings somewhere, either up on the road or for the chipping machine. Okay. If a chipper's involved, you just put them in a straight line and you make them so that the people can grab the bulky part and then stick it in the chipper.
Gotcha.
If you're making a slash pile, it's like a teepee, and there's like an art to that, and you have to make sure it's clear as the tree canopy and all that good stuff. So if you don't have a swamper, you have to stop and do it yourself. So you have to turn your saw off and take a break, which is probably good, safe wise. But yeah, remember, it's not a race. We're out there with a lot of saws going, usually 7 to up to 12, 15 sometimes. Yeah. Saws going, so it's kind of noisy. But we pair up and we do safety. We have two with each other. Everybody's within sight, and then we take breaks. We have lunch. We do a tailgate safety talk and all that good stuff. So.
Awesome. And you mentioned that you do have a lot of experienced tree cutters who volunteer, but you also have a certification program. So if people want to get involved, they don't necessarily have to know how to cut down trees or have an arborist background.
That's correct. Yeah. Anybody off the street can actually jump in and take a S212 class, which is taught through WRV. WRLV.org. Yeah, you could check it out there to see if they have the classes open. And I think they teach 2 4-day classes a year. And then there's other places you can get the certification through the Forest Service and some other places. But yeah, you just can't come and join our group and run a saw without some training.
Right.
And then even still, the new newbies, that come out of that class, we pair them up with our seasoned veteran Sawyers so that they are safe. Everything's safe. And of course, we have to wear all the PPE. That's personal protective equipment. Everything from head down, which is the orange helmets and the head phones for your ears and your eyes, and sometimes a buff because it's so dusty. And we have to have long sleeve shirts on and chaps and boots, good boots, and the whole bit. So we're very, very safe.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, so far, no injuries. Knock on wood.
That's awesome.
But everything's great.
Yeah.
So.
And you mentioned that they're both nonprofit organizations. So do you guys accept donations?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And where can somebody do that?
Well, they can do it on the website for Trail Cats. That'd be www.trailcats.org. And I think there's a donate button there. The NoCo Sawyers, we're still getting that set up on the website, but we have a Gmail that would be nocosawyers@gmail.com. Somebody could talk to us through that way, if they want to donate. Right now, we have deep pocket donors that fund us. And the beauty about our group, by the way, is we don't have an office. We don't have paid employees. We just have a van for the cats. We have a van, a commercial van, that's got our paintings all the way around it, And then you open up the back doors, and it's got these slide-out shelves and all our tools, state-of-the-art tools for trail work. Wow. So we had a deep pocket donor do that for us. And NoCo Sawyers, we have shirts and things. We have loaner equipment, and we have our own hats and shirts and all that good stuff. So we get our funding that way, and then the people can donate, And then we have corporations that give us a thing or two. And then private property, which is great, the ranches. Yeah. When we go there, we do the work. They let us stay in their cabins and stuff. And some of these cabins are not cabins. They're like full houses. Wow. Beautiful places to stay. And then they feed us, and then some of them give us beer. So now things are getting better. The perks are better. So we work for food, beer, and some lodging. But most of the time we just do it for fun because a lot of us like to run saws. There's a slight addiction there for that. Yeah. And same with cats. There's an addiction to that. Once you get trail building in your blood, that's why we put addicted in the title of our club, because you get addicted to doing trail work.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a blast.
It is.
So trail building, what exactly is involved in that? Yeah.
Multi-use trails is what we focus on. That means it's for horses, bikers, doggers, birders, joggers, all the classes of people, and user groups. The trails we stay away from is motorized trails and concrete trails and things like that. Okay. They have some of those in the mountains and things. What we do is, like for all the trails in the city of Loveland, CATS has actually built most of those. We've actually designed them and built them. One of our famous trail systems is over at Mariana Butte Golf Course. We invite our listeners to go over there.
Oh, cool.
You can park in the lower parking lot and get out, and there's a trail kiosk there. And there's a trail that goes around the butte, and then you go up to the top of the butte, and it's 5,270 feet. And if you stand up there and raise your arm a little bit higher, you might hit 5,280, which is, a mile.
That's awesome.
And then there's another trail called the Hidden Hogback Trail, which actually slices through where all the golfers are golfing. They'll be hitting the balls this way like that. The trail goes behind them and doesn't disturb them at all. And then it goes down to the river and hits Rosam Drive, and then you have to turn around and come back. But it's about 2 miles of trails over there. But there's some of the best looking trails in Loveland. And it might be a unique trail system altogether because, golf courses hate, trespassers like joggers, bikers. And all that. This one actually goes through a golf course, believe it or not. And they don't allow bikes or horses on the trail, but they allow everybody else with dogs on a leash and everything. So imagine that, you're golfing and you got people hiking by. So, but it's a unique place. It's a really fun place to get over and do a hike or two.
Yeah, guys, definitely go check that out. That sounds amazing, for sure. Well, it's National Wildfire Awareness Month, which is really cool. How do you see NoCo Sawyers and Trail Cats preventing wildfires and raising awareness for it?
Well, probably just continue doing what we do. We get out in the woods and do the Sawyer work as prescribed by the land agencies or the private property. The more thinning we do, the better it is for everybody. Because you generally, what in a perfect world it'd be a ground fire and it runs through and it doesn't go up into the canopy. And if there's no high winds, then it wouldn't blow it into the the next canopy. So that's what we're trying to do with most of the lands is get it so it's fireproofed, or at least a small ground fire that can be put out and arrested faster. The awareness is just us getting out there. NoCo doesn't have a van yet. I don't know about that, but we just kind of operate from Scott. By the way, we have 3 directors, by the way. I'm not the only founder. Okay. There's another, William V. with WRV helped found it, and Scott James with Cats. So there's 3 directors that run the group, and I'm just one of them. So, but we get out, and Scott's now the running things, Scott James, and he's lining up all these events for us for the rest of this year. And we're probably we're out sometimes like 2 times a week, and then some weekends. So we wear our shirts, we wear our gear. We don't have signage yet or any of that kind of stuff, but people can just join. They can join without the S212, by the way. They can be swampers, or they can come out and run a pole saw.
Okay.
And so, yeah. So
they don't have to go through the 4-day certification?
No, not if they don't want to run a chainsaw. Okay. They can run a pole saw, or they can swamp. Remember, that's pulling. Right, that's not so fun, but but actually, believe it or not, we got a couple of swampers. That's all they want to do is just pull tree limbs and make piles and stuff. And they're pretty good at it, too, but yeah. So that's our awareness. I mean, the more we get out there and the more work we do, the more exposure we get. Okay. And of course, your radio station, this plug, is always a good way to get out. But
absolutely,
really appreciate it.
So pretty much, it's always National Wildfire Awareness Month for you guys.
That's
always
correct.
Out there.
That's correct. Yeah, we're always plugging away.
Yeah, for sure. So for people who want more information on how to get involved, where should they go?
Well, once again, they can go to the trailcats.org website, and I think there's a button there. I haven't checked recently, but it was supposed to be a button for NoCo Sawyers, and it's abbreviated NoCo, and then it'd be SG Sawyer Group. And then we have some pull down buttons and things that talk about what we do. We haven't really put up a calendar yet to sign up and that kind of stuff. Cats is more aggressive. They've been around. We have a great webmaster and president of our group, Brandon Smith, is really great. And he takes care of all that. And over on the Cats side, you can sign up and click on the events you want to participate in.
Cool. So do you guys have any up-and-coming events you're preparing for?
We actually go out every Thursday night with Cats, and we work 3 to 7. And then we go somewhere like a brewery or a restaurant, and we clash mugs together like drunken Vikings and talk trail smack and stuff. But we have a good time, and that's what makes the group so great, because we have a lot of after-action mentoring and talking and networking. I mean, we got CEOs in our group, retired police officer, retired Navy people. We got all kinds of veterans and youngsters in our group, which makes it great. And both groups are like that. We both like to go have a beer afterwards, never during, but always afterwards. Yeah. We'll have a beer or, a drink and some food. For sure. But Cats is tonight, and they're every Thursday night. And then you go to the website. We got weekend things coming up. Okay. We'll be over at Button Rock Preserve this year, which is down in Longmont. We got like 7 whacks down there lined up.
Wow. Because
we got to redo that Sleepy Lion Trail, I think it's called, because it's really horribly misused or overrun. It's called trail creep. That's where everybody just keeps going further and further than the trail definitions. Oh, okay. So we have to pull it back, and we have to also put in staircases and drainages and stuff. So that trail needs a lot of work.
Wow. And you said it's like 6 hours for what you call a whack?
No, that's on the weekends. And that'd be a Sawyer group. And I think Cats would be a full weekend. We'd work probably 8-hour days. Okay. And we camp, and then we have people cook for us and everything. And by the way, everything's free in these both groups. You don't have to pay dues. You come out. We just want your sweat equity. And then we want you to get involved. And then you pick and choose your events like a bank buffet. You just come and pick and choose. Yeah. And you come back. And then the more you come back, the more you learn. It's like a snowball going down a hill. You just pick up more knowledge, more trail skill sets, more Sawyer skill sets, and you get real knowledgeable, and you get pretty good, But you don't get cocky. You have to stay straight and narrow, but you don't get too cocky. But
yeah, and I bet you learn a lot by doing this. And you mentioned building staircases on the trails. What's involved in that?
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Got a good story for you. Yeah. Over at Mariana Butte, my wife and I were designing that Hidden Hogback Trail, and we came in off of Rosam going east, and we were going through a lot of dense vegetation, and it was right near a cliff, and the golf hole is right up top where you tee off. So we're going at the base of this thing, and we come in this way. Then we came around the other way behind the golf hole tee, or where they tee off, and we came in and we didn't match. The trail was like this. It was offset. And it's like, oh no, disaster time. So I got my engineers to say, build a spiral staircase here. And they did. We had the stone available. We always use the stone that's around. Yeah. We'll take Mother Nature's stuff and flip it around into man-made staircases or rock walls or drainages and stuff. So we actually built a spiral staircase that offsets about 7, 8 feet. And the city came back and put a nice metal handrail on there because there's a lot of seniors that live over there, and they love that trail system, and they hike it every morning. It's one of the best. I think it's got rated in one magazine somewhere that the Hidden Hogback Trail is the #1 trail in Loveland.
So it turned out to be something pretty amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah. People love it.
Yeah.
They go over there and walk their dogs. I mean, it's a fun place, but be mindful. You're still out in the wilderness, even with the golf course there. Sometimes you'll see a rattlesnake there or so you got to be careful. But there's lots of birds and mammals, and it's one of the best kept secrets in Loveland. And what I tell your listeners is go and hike the trail, and then afterwards go into the restaurant there right next to the golf course club house. And it used to be called the Wapiti, but now it's called Bernie's Burgers and Buns, I think, something like that. They changed the name. But it doesn't matter. Go there. Yeah. And it's got a glass paneled dining room. And at the sunsets there are to kill for at 6:30 or so during the summer, or 8:30 or whatever it is. And they got a patio dining, and you can just look to the west and see the sun setting in back behind Estes Park. And it lights up all of Devil's Backbone. Wow. And the menu is good too. So I'm putting all these plugs out for everybody.
That's awesome.
But that's a great hike, a date night. Go over there and hike, and then go and get a burger or something, or a beer.
Seriously.
Good salads, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll totally have to check that out. You guys, too. Well, Bob, is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know?
No. Come check out our website and then check us out. And if you're interested, definitely join. We take in anybody. We'll train you up. And even if you haven't used a tool before, we always do a safety talk with our CATS folks, and we'll go through a full talk on the tools, which is called CUS. It's an acronym. It's carry, use, safety, and storage. Okay. So you get a full details on how to use the tool and get it out there. And then once you're out there, we'll pair you up with our veteran trail builders, and you'll start learning skills right away, like how to cut a trail in, or how to put in a drainage, how to put in stone steps, retaining walls, all kinds of stuff, bridges. We've actually built buck and rail fences. We've done bridges. CATS got started, by the way, over at Lorry State Park in 2013, really? After the Galena fire over there that burnt all those bridges. It burnt the whole park up, Lorry, most of the park, and then burnt all their bridges. So CATS was involved in rebuilding all the 10 bridges over there.
No way.
So that's where we started picking up our members, one at a time for years or two. So we just picked up one member or two. But now we're up to, believe it or not, we have 125 on our email list that are CATS members, but we only see about 20 or so. I wish we'd see more, but we only see about 20 or so during the season. And then NoCo Sawyers got about 45 on paper, and we only see about 8 or 10, 15 maybe tops on those too.
Okay.
So.
And say a volunteer only has a couple hours to spare. Do they have to commit to the full project time, or can they join you guys whenever?
A lot of times CATS is not too far away from the city and our beer. I mean, well, I have to be honest, but we're not too far away from civilization, because unless we're doing a weekend project and we're deep in the woods and stuff, and then we get our tools chirped up to us by ATVs and things like that.
Okay.
But if it's a local urban event, which is most of our work is weekday urban events, you can come out anytime during that 3 to 7 o'clock, 7:30ish, and join in. It depends on your schedule. I mean, if you get off work at 5 and you want to jump in for a couple hours, that's fine. We'll take you at any amount of time, and because we have some people just meet us over at the drinking places because they couldn't make it because they had to work late or something, but they'll meet us at the pub and celebrate with us. But yeah, you can come out anytime you want. Okay. The weekends might be a little more difficult finding us and things like that. We usually rendezvous at certain spots, and then we take off in convoys and we go up to where we're at. We set up Friday night base camp, and then we go in for the next 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, doing the work.
Okay.
And then we come back and pack up Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, head out.
Awesome.
So,
well, it sounds like a blast. Thank you so much.
It is.
Yeah. Thanks for taking the time to speak with me today.
Well, thanks for
Very
having me. I
interesting.
really appreciate it.
For more information on how to get involved with NoCo Sawyers or Trail Cats, visit trailcats.org.